Okay. So welcome to our fourth lab of Introduction to R. I know it's close to weekend, but trust me, you're gonna need the skills from this class to do your homework, and this class will also give you a taste of where the real beauty of R is. So focus on the next couple of minutes and you're good to go to enjoy your lovely weekend. So let's start it. So today, as usual, we'll do a recap very quickly, and we're going to talk about vector definitions and also vector arithmetic. And today, we'll take a step forward and learn some built-in functions in R. Basically, just length, sum, how to do the length, get a length of vector, how to do the sum of each component in a vector, and get the mean, also calculate how to calculate variance and do the standard deviations. So these are just basically all the basic statistics function you're going to frequently use in your either in your homework or in your real-world project experience. Okay, so let's move on to the recap. So as we know here, recall that we define a vector x as a vector S. X has n components, and we assign the value to the vector x using this statement. And we're going to assume all of the vectors we're working on here are numerical vectors. Yes, please.
When you do a vector, do you have to include C at the front of it?
Yeah, that's actually kind of the grammar or the format of the assignment statements in R. So if you recall previous labs, you know that this is how you do the assignment in R.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So this is the definition of the vector. So here's a question for you. Suppose x, so this is a big X. So suppose x is minus 1, 2, and 0, and y is 2, 3, and 5. So would you give me the answer of x squared divided by y and then plus 1? So I'll leave you a few seconds to working on that while I'm writing more on the boards. That's probably excuse me, I'm running out of space now. So just a little hint here. You can treat 1 as a vector, and each of its 3 components is also 1. So anyone want to give a try about the answer?
I'm going to ask for a little help trying to understand this a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
If we just take the x, the top line.
Yep.
And so what does the C mean there? And yeah, I guess that's my first question. What does that C?
Oh, the C is just mean that we assign this vector minus 1 to 0 to this vector x.
All right. And so those are just 3 values, -1 and 2 and 0 on the x-axis?
You can think of like you have 3 dimensions or something like that.
Okay.
It is a vector, and it has n components, so it has n dimensions.
All right.
So here we have 3, and it has 3 dimensions.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know if x, to your question, I'm not sure if x squared divided by y plus 1 is the right answer. Something doesn't seem quite right about it.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, for the time's sake, I'll just walk you through these steps real quick. And so remember that the principle how to do vector arithmetic is you do operations element-wise. So if you do x squared, that means x times x. So you're going to have minus 1 squared here in the first component. So it is 1, I guess. Yeah, it is 1. So on the next component, you're going to do 2 squared. So it will gives you 4. And 0 will gives you 0. And so next thing, we're going to divide by each component of y, vector y. So 1 divided by 2 will gives you half, 1/2, half, sorry. And this is 4 divided by 3. And the last one is 0, because you have a 0 on the top of your. So the final step is to add up with the vector 1. So it will gives you 1.5 here, and it will give you 2.333, I guess. And it will gives you 1 at the third component. So this is how we do. Yes, please.
Shouldn't that be 1.2 plus?
Oh yeah, we got a 1 plus here, so it is you got 1.33 here and plus 1, so you got it. Yeah, yes. So are we all cool here? Shall we move on to the new stuff today? So today we're going to learn the built-in functions in R. So the length function will give you. So first of all, let me be clear. We're going to continue to use the definition of a vector here. So vector x, big X, denotes a vector which has n components. So the length of x will just returns you the length of x. So it is pretty straightforward. So the sum of x will actually returns you the sum of each component of x. So if you're not familiar with the sigma symbol here, it means just add up everything in a vector x. So the mean function, as you can guess, it will gives you the mean of every components in vector x. So it is simply equivalent when you doing mean vector x, or you're doing sum x divided by the length of x. So this is basically the definition of what mean is, right? They are equivalent. So I guess I'll leave a question for you here also. Can you use those 3 functions to calculate variance of a vector x? Yes, please.
What does variance mean?
Yeah, I'll give you the definition of the variance. The equation I'm going to use here is so also vector x has n components, and it's a spoiler here. I will not write mean, but I'll write x bar to denote mean. Okay. And so I guess we're running out of time here. So I'll leave this. Maybe I'll leave these stuffs to the next section, but I guess it will do no harm. You will have no problem when you're doing your homework. So today we have covered we know how to do length and sum and mean. So in my opinion, you can do all of those complicated stuffs in just one simple line of code. So in my opinion, that's what the the real beauty of R is, because in other language you might use a lot of lengthy statements to do that. So have a nice weekend. This is today's class, and see you on Monday. Thank you.
Right, thanks, Joshua. So we just want to ask a couple of questions.
Sure.
Minutes of questions. So maybe I'll start us out. So I understand, length and sum and mean and kind of the definitions you're giving here.
Yeah.
But when you're writing code in R, in a sense, you don't really need to know that, right? Can't you just write the code as like for length? What would that code look like?
Oh, this is the exact code
That
you're
is the
going.
exact
Yeah, yeah.
code.
So
Oh,
these
okay.
is the exact statement you're going to use when you're trying to get the
I
length
see,
of the
I see.
vector. Yeah, these are the
Okay.
exact
So length X,
function.
okay.
Yes, yes.
That
So
makes sense.
yeah. So and just a second, please. So you can also try it on your R Studio. I get you should have R Studio and R set up in your laptop, so you can always try it yourself. Yes. Yes, please.
Can I capture the length, sum, and mean in different variables so that I can use it elsewhere?
Yeah, definitely. So the length will returns a numerical value, an integer. So you can assign this, let's see. We can assign this value to a new variable, whatever you call it, maybe, let's see. So you can do this and you can save the length of x for future use. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Thank you.
So can I ask a follow-up? So
Yes,
to
please.
write if I wanted to get length of that vector, would the one line, the first line would be x, arrow c, and then the line under that would be length x?
Yes, but there are multiple ways to get a vector of x, as we'll see in the later sections. Because you can read a vector from a file. You can just read in a vector from maybe other R script, and there are many ways to do that. But one simple statement to get the length is always this statement. Yes, please.
Can you assign them to different variables by doing like the other arrow? Like if you did length x arrow.
You mean the direction?
Yeah, the other direction.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point, but because actually you can do that in R, so it is very interesting. But I guess I'll leave it here. So instead of doing this, you can also do length of x assigned to z. So these two statements will gives you the exact result, which means that you'll get assign the length of x to the variable z. So these two statements are equivalent actually,
Okay.
but you just change the direction of this arrow. Yeah. Any more questions? Yes, please.
So where do I use all this length, sum, and mean in our context? What are the use cases?
So one thing is that if you want to do some iteration over a vector, which you could not use some of the built-in functions in R, so you're going to definitely know the length of a vector in order to iterate through each component of vector. So that's the most common use case of getting the length of a vector. Yes.
Can you tell me what the exact command for variance is? Is it like?
Oh yeah. I'll do a spoiler here. Yeah. So this is the basic statistical
Right.
definition of variance. So actually, one simple way to do that is just to write var x. So it will just simply returns the variance of vector x, of each component of vector x. But what I'm going to intend to do here is trying to get you to use the combination. You see, just replace x bar with mean x or something like that.
So the answer to your original question is yes, right? If we have the length sum of the mean, we can get.
Yeah, absolutely, yes, yes, yes.
Good, well, we've given you more than enough questions.
Yeah.